Now, the 10-minute drill.
This is a big one.
On 1010XL.
Let's go, let's go, let's go.
Hit it.
Yeah! Yeah! Yeah!
You want to rock?
I do. I also want to give something away. What are we giving away today, Beef?
Stay tuned. At the end of the 10-minute drill, one lucky Guggen's going to score a 4-pack of Jumbo Shrimp tickets and a voucher for the 18-hole simulator with TrackMan and a beer from Coastal Indoor Golf.
Well, yesterday, this isn't the top story in sports, but this is the top story in my world. Yesterday, it hopefully is the beginning of a bright new dawn.
I love Veronica Corningstone.
of a brand new dawning of change. Finally,
yes,
perhaps some sensibility can return to the baseball diamonds. Robot umpires have arrived. Here. Put them on every freaking corner. Put them behind the plate. Major League umpires are the worst at their job of any profession in the history of the United States of America. I'm all for robot umpires. The Independent Atlantic League became the first American professional baseball league to let a computer call balls and strikes on Wednesday at its AllStar Game. The plate umpire, Brian DeBrawware, did what he's more capable of. He wore an earpiece connected to an iPhone and relayed the call after getting it from a TrackMan computer system. He crouched in his normal position behind the catcher. He signaled balls and strikes. And I haven't seen the analytics, but I can guarantee you 100% that the computer did a whole hell of a lot better job than Brian would have had he been given the opportunity. So I really would love to see computers call balls and strikes only. I would.
This could be the end of Cowboy Joe and the boys.
Good. They all need to ride out on their high horse. They're terrible people. And
Cowboy Joe's a legend.
they do.
I hate to see you say
Cowboy
that.
Joe is a jack to the A.
Cowboy Joe was signing autographs during a rain delay in Pittsburgh recently.
Good for
He's
him.
a legend. Okay?
Cowboy Joe West, you know why he's called that, right? The idiot put out
He's a singer.
country music album in the 70s. That's how long he's been around. He has eaten his way through every park.
You leave Cowboy Joe alone.
Cowboy Joe's a big boy now.
Cowboy Joe's a
Cowboy
legend.
Joe was never like a barrel-chested thin guy either. So, look.
Well, you wanted it, you got it, and see how it works. And there's an umpire behind the plate. He's got the earpiece, and they tell him what it's a strike or a ball, and off we go. That's
the umpires have
if it hits the box, it's a strike. If it doesn't hit the box, it's a ball.
Let me tell you why this isn't going to work. Because these contentious, argumentative umpires, they have the ability to override the computer. So, Fat A Cowboy Joe will go marching up to the press box.
I would do exactly this. I would love to see the guy turn back at me like he's ticked.
Computer.
Put my hands up and go, hey, computer.
TrackMan does also not evaluate check swings, so they'll continue to get those wrong. The umpires have the ability to override the computer, which considers a pitch a strike when the ball what? Oh, it would call it a strike if it bounced and then crossed what the zone is. So that's the only time they can do it.
Well, speaking of baseball, they did it again. The All-Star Game ratings, record low, 6.2. Last year, 6.5, same as 2017. Previous low came in 2016. Fox is happy they won the night. Now, in fairness, if we tell you 6.2, you sit there and you go...
That's the rating? That's not or the millions that watch?
That's the rating.
Yeah, so millions, that's like 15 million probably.
It doesn't... Well, regardless, it's still it's a record low. So there's a problem there, right?
Except that's a higher rating than the women's soccer who have climbed Mount Rushmore and stormed Normandy got.
Home Run Derby drew a 4.5 overnight, slightly up from last year. Down still, though, 20% from 2017. So, but if you compare the All-Star games, no All-Star games are peaking in this day and age. NBA All-Star Game drew a record low overnight back in February, and nobody said, oh, God, the game is dead. Pro Bowl viewership has been sinking for years, even with ESPN simulcasting the game on 3 English-language networks. So, sports fans just don't watch the All-Star games anymore like they used to, and there's a bunch of reasons why, and each one is different. The Pro Bowl, we know why. The game is basically flag football, and, it's not even AFC against NFC anymore.
I think what else has happened to these All-Star games, Hick, is back in the day when the All-Star games were bigger, you did not get to see every game, every team, every player. You might go a whole season and not see Bob Gibson play.
Sure.
And now, and same in football. Mm-hmm. I mean, in football, you used to get a game at 1 and a game at 4, and you were lucky to get highlights on Monday Night Football.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I get it. We have so much exposure now to our sports. There's nothing special about the All-Star games anymore. And we've become so, result-driven that if it has any implication, wouldn't you say that the distaste for NFL preseason is higher than it's ever been?
Yes.
Right? I think as a society, we become so results driven that if you give us something that doesn't matter, then we don't,
Jeff, I'd like to fast forward to next Sunday.
Okay.
At about
I would too. You'll be back from vacation and I'll be heading on it.
At about 3:15.
So I'd like to do that too.
At about 3:15 in the afternoon.
Uh-huh.
When this will be happening. I'd like to award the claret jug to Brooks Koepka. And Koepka will hoist the claret jug.
Did you see the claret jugs on Koepka's date last night? Because the whole world did.
Apparently,
she wore like a fishnet see-through.
Yes.
Is that appropriate?
I'm not going to comment. Anyway,
Jimmy Garoppolo is intrigued.
Brooks Koepka will then sit down with the media and be asked, incredible, how'd you win it? And he goes, well, when I was at the ESPYs, I was up for Male Athlete of the Year, and they gave it to this guy, Antetokounmpo, and it put a chip on my shoulder.
Good.
So look for Koepka now to take the claret jug as well.
When do they also vote on the Athlete of the Year directly after the regular season? Because Summer Kawhi must be like, really, dog? Really? Kawhi, really? Was my team any better than Giannis's team? I think I kind of remember beating him in the East Finals. So, do you agree that it's improve or else time already for Willie Taggart? Like Dennis Dodd did a hot seat ranking.
Yeah.
Like I feel the narrative kind of changing a little bit with some time away from the bowl of season. I feel like, from afar, you feel like Taggart has gotten his feet under himself a little bit better. They had what most people think was a good spring, a good game, a good spring game. And so, he hired Kendall Briles. It's been more, haven't you felt more positivity toward and about the FSU program? And so now for him, basically Willie Taggart was ranked as one of the 9 hottest seats in college football. Do you agree with that? Maybe not as it plays out this offseason, but moving forward.
There's 2 ways I agree with it. Absolutely on surface, yes. And college football is a big business. And I think while you were away, we chronicled how FSU season tickets are way down. Like, they're not going to sell the bowl is 40,000. The lower bowl is 40,000. And I think they've sold either 20 or 25,000 way down. And it's been going down every year since they won the Natty. They were sold out the following year, and now it's just been plummeting downward. But this year they have a terrible home schedule. They don't have Florida or Clemson. I think their only game of note is Miami. So they don't have a great home schedule. And so pointing out it's a challenge for every team. But the reason I bring that up is that will ultimately determine Willie Taggart. So if FSU somehow loses to Boise and Virginia early, they will fall off the map of the college football world.
That won't be
that will FSU so the AD can talk all he wants to talk and puff out his chest and say, look, everything was a mess here and Willie's cleaning it up and he's doing a great job, and that's fine. However, the reality of the situation is if you go 6-6 and nobody comes to your games, you will not last at FSU or any school like that, where expectation is to win conference championships at the very least.
I think the attendance is the next big dilemma. Like the pro leagues are dealing with losing TV audiences.
Oh, it's
college football programs. We're reaching a crisis. I mean, places like Rocky Top and the Swamp.
No. We've reached. It's not a crisis, but we've reached that point.
Well, I'm saying we could reach crisis.
Oh, yeah.
If you get to a point and you're paying your football coach $6 million a year and you're getting $38,000 in the building every Saturday, then you're going to reach a tipping point. I think.
Yeah,
a little bit at least.
Who are the other ones on the hot seat?
It wasn't really anybody of great, Lovie Smith and Bob Davie. A bunch of, that was the only one that really jumped at me. Most guys are fine. There's such turnover in college football to begin with that the only 3 that are win now or be fired are Lovie Smith, Bob Davie, and the coach at Rutgers. whose name is Chris Ash. So there's that. All right, we'll finish with this.
Okay.
Well, actually, I've got two more things. One is the signing of Marcus Sims. Tell us what you know about. It's an odd time of the year to sign a rookie free agent, but Sims went into the supplemental draft,
Right,
along with a kid from Washington State. The Washington State player was drafted as supplemental draft in the 5th round. Sims undrafted, but the Jags immediately jump on him in free agency. So, what do you make of that?
To me, I make of it that if you go by One Stadium Place, there's a shingle out there that says "Help Wanted, Receivers Need Apply," and I don't know. It doesn't scream at me that they're not satisfied with their group, but it tells me that with Pryor and Sims coming in, that they're not against. Looking around and seeing if they can improve the position?
Does it heighten your senses that this does not come in with the best personal resume? I mean, he was
some off-field issues.
Tried to run him off of the
That was one of the things I read. Yes.
Yeah.
So
does that speak to the state anymore, or would that be drawing too much?
I mean, it's an undrafted rookie free agent. It's like the day after the draft, and you don't get drafted, you sign some guys.
That's right. If you don't make it, you put him on.
Here you go, kid. You want a chance? By the way, there's zero tolerance here. If you mess up, you'll be gone.
All right. The last thing I have for you,
but it's a good situation for any young receiver with skills, because again, I'm not going to sit here and tell you that the core is set.
Who did they settle on as the primary punt returner? Was it Dede? Did he?
Yeah, he returned one for a touch.
So I think you're probably trying to take that workload off of him. As you develop a receiver into a more. Antonio Brown used to return punts for Pittsburgh. You reach a point where that's more of a risk than it is an advantage. All right, I just have one last question for you. I don't know if you know this. Yesterday, though, we both became big Corn Ferry Tour fans. I think it's the best move now. The more I settle in on the Corn Ferry Tour.
Okay.
Changing the name to the Corn Ferry Tour is the best thing that's ever happened. And with all due respect to web.com, a local.
Pray tell why.
Well, I just like I like how it rolls off my tongue. What are you doing? I'm watching the Corn Ferry Tour. But I have this for you.
Okay.
And I'm going to need you to explain what your game plan would be. The par 5 13th hole at the Corn Ferry Tour.
The Denver one?
The Colorado Championships is going to play at, you ready?
Yeah.
773 yards. So how does Dan Hicken approach the 773-yard par 5 13th hole on the Corn Ferry Tour this weekend?
Well, I'll get a little crazy, go driver off the tee box.
Yeah.
And then if I keep it in play at 200 yards, I'll probably pull out the 3-wood.
Hit that 3 times.
And I'll hit that. And if I hit that good,
you'll have to hit it twice more. No, 3 times more.
If I hit it good, I'll be at 3.
You hit about 180 probably?
560, 660. Yeah, I guess the best I could do would be like 6. If I hit 5 good ones in a row.
And made a 1 putt. Here, let me put
now the ball travels a little bit better.
Well, it has to travel a lot better to play at 773.
Yeah.
And it must be downhill. So without knowing anything about the layout of the hole or the field, will anyone reach the 773-yard par 5
in 2?
In 2. And if they do, what are we doing?
I'd say no.
Yeah.
I'd say it's not possible. But, I mean, well, we've seen drives. If it's going downhill and gets rolling like that one in Hawaii, come out 365, 380 on the drive, right? So if it's that kind of hole and it's in Colorado, you might be able to get it out 400, but then you got to hit a 3-wood 300. I mean, I can't imagine you can hit it in 2.
Well,
what do you have?
By the way, the overall yardage is 8,000 yards, which is that's not outrageous. Let's see, the 773 yards.
Yeah, I'd say no, you can't hit it in 2.
All right.
You would know better than me.
By the way, there may be a 9,000-yard course on the way. We're at TPC Colorado, though, that plays at 8,000 yards, including the 773 very meaty par 5.
It is meaty.
Let's see.
Oh, dear.
Well, I'm reading as we go along here. I'm just seeing, let's see, the tee shot. All right, here we go. I just want to look at the layout a little. Tee shot is a wide open.
Okay.
So you swing away.
All right.
Now, on the second shot, you're challenged by a quote. I'll go ahead and apologize to Mayor Curry. You're challenged by the quote L bunker. Their terms, not ours.
Okay.
And forced to lay up to 200 yards.
Yeah, I'd be me more.
Yes, laying up to 200
I'm not
yards.
laying up to 200. I can't get there yet.
I got to be honest with you. If I could lay up to 200 yards on a 773-yard hole, I'd be pretty happy.
Heck yeah.
Anyway, no hole though today seems like it's. I'm looking at. You're not getting there too. There's like a waste bunker that runs.
By the way,
no one's getting there too.
By the way, I think it would be a little bit unfair if you have a 773-yard par 5 hole. Putting in a hell bunker is not really fair, right? Is that fair?
Here's what.
I mean, what if you hit a couple good shots and suddenly you're in the hell bunker? That's not cool.
One of the pros about the 13th hole: better bring your walking shoes. The balls fly further at 5,100 feet. That's not that high though of elevation.
Yeah.
Compared, because I'm thinking about Mexico where it's even higher, and those pros were getting more yardage, but not enough to play 773 yards.
Yeah, they're not getting there too.
All right. Well, and plus you're gonna have to get it airborne to take advantage of that altitude.
Let's do caller number 3 right now, 641-1010. Beef, tell them what they're getting. Doc Murphy on deck.
Number 3 right now, 641-1010. Going to take home a 4-pack of tickets to go see the Jumbo Shrimp in action down at the baseball grounds of Jacksonville. And they'll get a quick 18 in the cool indoor beauty of the TrackMan Simulator. And they'll get a beer at Coastal Indoor Golf.